Most people who rely on Social Security have the same routine every month. You wake up on your payment day, check your bank account, and expect to see that deposit sitting there. For millions of retirees, that moment brings real relief because that payment covers groceries, prescriptions, rent, and utility bills. But lately, a lot of seniors have been experiencing something unsettling. On the exact day the payment is supposed to arrive, the money isn't showing in the account yet. The calendar says it should be there, Social Security has already released the payment, and still the balance hasn't changed. That's when the worry kicks in. Was the payment delayed? Was there a mistake? Did something happen to the benefit? What many retirees don't realize is that after Social Security releases the payment, there's still a behind-the-scenes process inside the banking system before the deposit becomes visible in your available balance. In most cases, nothing is wrong at all. The money is already moving through the system on schedule. But depending on your bank's posting schedule, and sometimes their security systems, the deposit may show up a few hours later in the day instead of early in the morning. If you live on a fixed income, even a short delay can feel like a major problem, especially when bills are timed around that deposit. Welcome back to Senior Security Benefits. I'm George, and if you rely on Social Security, or you help someone who does, this is worth understanding because it's causing more confusion than most people realize. Many seniors assume that once Social Security sends the money, it instantly appears in the bank account. In reality, there are multiple steps between the moment the payment is issued and the moment you see it posted. Once you understand those steps, you'll be able to tell the difference between a normal posting delay and a real issue that needs action. A few months ago, my own father went through this. He's received Social Security retirement benefits for years and has his monthly budget built around that deposit. One morning, he checked his account expecting the payment to be there, and it wasn't. The date was right. The payment should have arrived. For a moment, he genuinely thought something had happened to his benefits. But later that afternoon, the deposit appeared. Correct amount, correct date, no issue with Social Security at all. The delay came from the final stage of bank processing, not from SSA. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. Social Security authorizes your payment based on eligibility and your monthly benefit amount. The U.S. Treasury issues the payment and routes it electronically through the ACH system, the same general network used for most direct deposits. That payment is sent using your bank's routing number and your account number. Once your bank receives the deposit file, the payment is essentially at the bank, but it still has to be processed through the bank's internal systems before you see it as posted funds. For many banks, that processing happens overnight, and by the time you wake up, the deposit is already visible. But banks don't all post deposits at the same time. Some post at midnight, some post at 3 a.m., some post in waves throughout the day. So two people who are paid on the same Social Security schedule can check their accounts at the same time and see different results simply because their banks post deposits on different internal timelines. On top of normal posting schedules, some banks have strengthened fraud detection and account security monitoring. That's not Social Security changing your payment, and it doesn't reduce your benefit. It's a bank-side process. If an account has had recent changes like a new phone number, updated address, password resets, unusual login attempts, or a new device, some banks temporarily monitor incoming and outgoing activity more closely. Sometimes those systems can cause a deposit to be held in a pending state until the next processing cycle releases it to the available balance. Most customers never notice, but when they do, it looks like the payment is late even though it's already in the pipeline. New accounts and bank switches can also create timing confusion. If you recently moved your deposit to a new bank, the first few deposits may be handled more cautiously by the bank's systems. And if an account is closed or restricted, the deposit may be rejected and returned to the Treasury, which can create a real delay while Social Security updates the routing and reissues payment. That's less common, but it's one reason it's so important to update direct deposit information quickly if you change banks. Now, even without any security review at all, it's still normal for a Social Security deposit to appear later in the day. That's why I always tell people this. If you check first thing in the morning and the deposit isn't visible yet, check again later in the afternoon. In many cases, it will post automatically during the bank's next update cycle without you doing anything. To make this even clearer, it helps to understand the official Social Security payment schedule, because not everyone is paid on the same day. SSI is typically paid on the first of the month, and if the first falls on a weekend or federal holiday, SSI is usually paid on the last business day of the previous month. Retirement and SSDI payments are usually scheduled by birth date. Birthdays on the 1st through the 10th are typically paid on the 2nd Wednesday, 11th through 20th on the 3rd Wednesday, and 21st through 31st on the 4th Wednesday. Some longtime beneficiaries, especially those who began receiving Social Security before certain historical schedule changes, may be on an earlier monthly payment cycle rather than the Wednesday system. The key point is that your payment date is the date the government releases the deposit, but your posting time is controlled by your bank. Now let's talk about what you should do if your payment isn't showing when you expect it. First, don't assume the worst at 7 a.m. The most common scenario is a posting delay, not a missing payment. Give it time and check later in the day. If it's still not visible, contact your bank before you contact Social Security. The bank can often tell you whether a deposit is pending or whether there was an issue with the account. If the bank confirms there is no pending deposit and you're outside the normal posting window, then you contact Social Security. And if you ever do have to escalate it, document dates, screenshots of balances, and who you spoke with, because records help resolve issues faster. It also helps to set up your month so you have a little breathing room. If you can, schedule major auto payments for a day or two after your expected deposit date, not the morning of. That small buffer can prevent overdrafts and late fees when a deposit posts later than you're used to. And if you're on a fixed income, reviewing recurring subscriptions and small monthly charges once or twice a year can free up more cushion than most people realize. One more important point. Banking posting delays are not the same thing as benefit cuts. Your Social Security benefit amount is determined by SSA based on your earnings record, eligibility, and annual COLA changes. Bank security systems don't change your benefit. They can only affect when funds become visible and available inside your account. Once you understand that difference, a same-day delay becomes far less alarming. If you're comfortable sharing, tell me in the comments what bank you use, optional, what state you're in, and whether your Social Security deposit tends to show up early morning or later in the day. That information helps other seniors recognize what's normal and what isn't. And if you want more clear updates like this, subscribe to Senior Security Benefits, because staying informed is one of the best ways to protect your retirement income and your peace of mind.